Okay, so today I need to replace my backflow preventer. Our city had just enacted a testing process and my backflow preventer it failed, or the vacuum had failed the test, so I need to replace it. Now, I went ahead and I tried to go ahead and just remove it the simple way, but this thing is probably like 20 years old or so, came with the original house. So as you can see here, I'd already tried to remove that. It's so seized on there, it's absolutely crazy, and I don't think that these are reverse threaded anyway, so it really wouldn't make a difference. So what I'm going to need to do is cut some pipes. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut right here, and then also probably down here somewhere, and then replace it with removable, and either like a slip joint or something like that, be able to replace that so I can, if I need to, replace this again in the future. So I'll show you what I got. So I should make note here that I am not a licensed plumber at all. This is just for entertainment purposes only, and just some tips to maybe try to help somebody else out here. But if there's other local codes or anything like that, you're going to want to abide by your local plumbing codes and things like that. But again, I'm not a licensed plumber. It's just, this is something that's going to work for me. So with that, what I did is I went to Home Depot and I went ahead and I bought a new new backflow preventer unit, or also called a pressure vacuum breaker. So this one is made by Zern, and it is of the same model and everything that I have, just obviously a newer one. So this is it. I've got, make sure you see the 1 inch down there in the lower left corner, and that is what's going to fit my pipes. So instead of having to sweat, I don't like sweating pipe or anything like that, but this cool thing by SharkBite came out, and these things are awesome. You just slip the pipe in there and it grabs it. Now, I'm trying to get that into focus a little bit more. So this is called SharkBite. This is a male adapter that I'm going to go ahead and I screw into the ports. The valve ports here, screw that in, and then this will slip over the pipe and not having to sweat the pipe or solder or anything like that. So what I did, I already installed the one on the lower part. You can see that here, and cranked it down. So you can see it'll fit right into the female end of the pressure valve. And then this bottom part, as you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and stick it right on the pipe, and I'll show that here when I get everything put together. This other one will fit into the outlet here. I'm going to go ahead and crank that down on there, and then we should be good to go to start cutting some pipe, making sure that you've got Teflon tape on there to be able to make a good water seal. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cranked on there. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the pipe and everything, or the fitting on there. Now I'm going to go and get the pipes cut out there and get the old unit off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get cutting on these pipes here. What I'm using is just going to be a simple adjustment tool here. That way I'm not going to create any burrs or anything like that. So for this side, I'm going to cut just below this collar right here to give me the most room of whatever I'm going to need for spacing here. On this side, I'll probably cut down a bit lower here, just so I can go ahead and fit another pipe into there and give me plenty of room to do that. So here we go. Let's see, hopefully this will work. Oh, and of course the house is in the way. So we'll just have to try to do this as best I can here with the other thing that I did was to make sure that I shut the water off from the inside of the house. We've got a little bit of water, it looks like, that's still stuck in there. I tried to depressurize the system as much as I could, but clearly not enough. So moving this back and forth till I can hopefully get a clean cut in here. We're almost there. I need to readjust this here a bit. Okay, yeah, I've got that back side that I need to use a different tool for, so let me find something else. Okay, so I got this thing off, but what I needed to do was use a Sawzall in order to get that, just that last little bit. But here's the old one right here, and then here are the cuts that I made here. Now what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to go get some steel wool and kind of shave these burrs down. So you don't want those burrs with that shark bite. There's a plastic liner in there that if these burrs crack that, it would be very bad and you're going to have leaks. So I'm going to go get this filed down, and then we should be good to start the fitment of the new one. All right, so I got the pipes all cleaned up with the burrs and stuff like that. I ended up just using a drill with a wire brush on there, and it seemed to work pretty good. Although what I will say is that you got to be careful because metal pieces can get down in the pipes here, and you don't want that because then that will either go to into that backflow preventer and clog that up, or right to your sprinkler heads. So what I ended up doing was just taking a couple pieces of cloth and shoving them down in the holes, cleaned everything up, and now we're ready to fit the new backflow preventer. All right, so the new backflow preventer, I've got it on here. These are the shark bite, and all you're gonna need to do is just fit this over, making sure that this little plastic piece doesn't get crushed. This fits right inside of this tube. So we'll just kind of gently push this in there, and then from here you can kind of feel it catch. From here then you're just going to press down and it's going to grab, and you kind of feel it, you'll be able to feel it grab there. So what I'm going to do here, you can move this, but you can see it's not going to come off. There is a special tool that's sold that if you do need to take this off and reposition it, the tool wraps around, it's like a C-clamp. You push up on it, it then retracts the bite, and you'll be able to pull it off and back on. So these are you can use these multiple times. But what I'm going to do now is now I'll be able to measure from here down to the lower pipe, figure out how much I'm going to need from there. So I wanted to get this on first, make sure I had a tight fit, and here I can make my adjustments on the elbow. So I'm going to go ahead and start that now. I do have another shark bite fitting that I'll show you here in a second, which is going to go here. It's an inline straight fitting that will it'll connect this brass or this copper to a piece of PEX that I've got, and we're going to do an elbow here also with shark bite, and I'll show you those here in just a second. Okay, so these are the other two pieces that I was referring to. This is that straight inline connector, and then this is the 90-degree elbow that we're going to need at the top. So the thing with these though is that you're going to need to make sure you measure a little bit longer, because the pipe needs to go in there and actually not snap into place, but securely fasten into place. So what to do is, and I've already done it here, I went ahead and put one of these, I put the shark bite on there, clamped it all the way down, made a line there from when it was all the way secured, goes in probably about to there. So this is kind of a bad example just because of the dimensions, but that's where the bottom of this goes. Then I was able to take it off with this tool. It costs about a couple of bucks at Home Depot, and took it off. And so this measures 1 1/4 inches. So that's how I know how much longer I'm going to need to cut this pipe when I go ahead and measure for the fitting. Okay, so I went ahead and I measured the first part. Remember, this was the threaded on male piece to the shark bite fitting here. This is that 90-degree elbow. And so there's my mark for that 1 1/4 that needed for the plate to go into this unit. I also added an 1 1/4 between these two to go into this housing here. Now I went ahead and I measured this distance here, which was 11 1/4. Now, knowing that it was an 1 1/4 that I need to allow for to go into the fitting, that would be another 2.5 inches. So 11 1/4 plus 2.5, that is, oh crap. Whatever, I'm going to add that here in a second. But you get my point, making sure to allot for the extra that needs to go into the fitting. So let's cut and pray for the best. Okay, so here we are with the hopefully final fitting. Just gonna, all these do is they just slip in here, and I just need to adjust and get it in here. Now all you need to do is just push down, and they'll grab. You can kind of see it move there, move down the top. So this, hopefully, if I did everything right, it's all fitting. When I turn the water back on, there shouldn't be any leaks on this. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. We'll let you know here. Hang on. Okay, I turned the water back on. Good news is that we don't have any leaks here, so we know that this piece is connected correctly now. Obviously these valves are still turned off. One thing though, before you turn on the new system, make sure that these are tight. Otherwise you're going to have water spraying out. Make sure these are closed, which it's just a little half turn. Okay, didn't realize that, or a quarter turn, excuse me. So that should be closed. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and we'll pray for the best. Nope, that one was not, as you can see, that one was not closed. So it is a half turn. Okay, and the little water from up here is perfectly fine. That's normal. We'll turn this one on, see if we got all the seals done here. Okay, figure it out. There we go. Okay, the system is on now. Water is flowing through. We're just going to look, see if we have any leaks anywhere. Does not look like it. So the shark bites did what they needed to do. And lo and behold, I'm not making multiple trips to Home Depot, which is kind of a shocker for me. So anyway, that is the replacement of a bad vacuum breaker or backflow preventer, however you want to call it. So let's hope we pass the test this time, and should be good. Let me know what you think. Thank you.